March 15th. Good afternoon from Europe. Good morning, good evening, whatever you are, guys. Piotr here. Sunday. So it's, a little bit of the calm when it comes to the market. We just have the crypto crazy stuff, and that's what we are going to talk about. So it's time for a crypto market update after the latest huge sell-off. We are going to go through a few charts, and we are going to try to answer some questions, and the most important, if the current sell-off will create some buying opportunity, and if yes, what kind of the assets, right, we are talking about. So without the further delay, let's have a look what we have on the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so that's the weekly chart, and what's the most important thing, guys? If you remember this weekly zone, right, when it comes to this huge rally we've seen, right, this weekly zone is with us for quite some time, and it's not gonna be surprise if we are going to see where the market started, either from the short side taking the profit, or if there was some bulls just around the corner, right? So where the bulls were interested to buy. Now, what we have to understand, guys, it's not only the sell-off, it's not only crypto related. What we have to understand, guys, I went through the financial crisis in 2008, and I went through the dry feed. Actually, I did not bad. I do remember early 2000, some sell-offs as well, but I never seen something like this. So I'm watching this chart for like plus minus 20 years already, and I haven't seen, when it comes to all the financial instruments, I haven't seen this type of the action before. The thing is, I don't think it's we already ended, right? Why? Also, the focus from the politicians, from the central bankers, it's in the wrong direction, in my opinion. They are trying to save the financial markets instead of focusing on the a little bit different sectors. But well, that's something different. So let's get back to the Bitcoin. When it comes to, if it's gold also been falling during this latest few days, right? Why is that? Because if you have a margin call on different assets, so you are trying to sell whatever you have with the profit to collect the money to cover the margin calls, right? So that's how it works. So, currently we have plenty of young money managers. Most of them didn't went through the 2008 financial crisis. Looks like they only know low volatility, so the best strategy was the selling VIX, right? And they were caught very, very strongly with all those low volatility positions. Anyway, going back to our Bitcoin, well, in my opinion, the first thing first, we have to hold right now these levels, right? That's what we're trying to do right here, right now, and that's the most important thing. But unfortunately, because of what we've seen, more pain may come, right? Because even if we are going to see some kind of the rally, it might be only towards the red dotted line. What is the red dotted line? Red dotted line is a yearly open, right? So we have to get back above yearly open, pull back continuation eventually this way, right? What is all, well, there are a few things that I like. For example, that the sell-off, it was also stopped here inside the weekly possible demand zone. That's the first thing first. But also, guys, when it comes to the make the measure, right, it's almost did the same distance what we've seen above the yearly open. So right now it's good that there's a yearly this year, because there is a chance to build the lower shadow, right? So from the very long-term perspective, well, we will see. Not sure if the halving right now is going to help us. But anyway, with all those coronavirus stuff going on, well, I do expect a little bit more pain to come. But overall, we have some kind of the either short covering or some buying going on around the current level. Let's switch to the daily chart, and here where the most scary things are, because if you do remember the trend line we were discussing quite a few times, right? The trend line being broken to the downside, and we are staying below right now, and that's not the great thing, right? So we need to get back as soon as we can above 5,800, 6,000. If you remember those levels, they were so important, and right now when it comes to this trend line, of course that's not gonna be enough, because there is a 6,600, 6,800 and 7,200 yearly open. That's where the most important levels we have, right? So that's what we have to remember about. So overall, when it comes to the Bitcoin, I do think some more pain might take place. We have a little bit higher volatility, meaning that the intraday moves can be a little bit bigger. So if you are approaching right now Bitcoin from the trading perspective, I would be very, very careful and trying to take the advantage of some extremes. So what could be those extremes when it comes to the trading, not hodling, right? Trading. So let's switch lower. Let's switch to 4-hour chart. And well, if I would go with the trading, not accumulating or hodling, right? I would watch the zone over here. So 5,800, 6,000. That's what we discussed a second ago based on the daily chart, right? Now, what is important? As of now, I would create this type of the range, right? Meaning that 5,800, 6,200, that might be the supply zone, right? And the levels towards 4,500, 4,000, that might be the levels related to the buying zone, right? So it's quite wide. Well, that's what I've mentioned a second ago. We have the moment of the higher volatility. So it's, well, the moves are bigger, right? But once we are going to get out of that $2,000 range to the upside, wow, that could provide the opportunity to what? If the range is 2,000 and we are breaking to the upside, it's another 2,000. And then we might retest 8,000, 8,200 again. That's how I see the things. Of course, 2,000 range, breaking to the downside, bringing, 2,000, and that's what we have to be aware of. So for now, I would watch this huge range in between 6,000, 6,200 to the upside, and 4,200, 4,000 to the downside. Let's have a look what we have on Ether, just quickly, because Ether did it like straight to the downside, right? Retest the lows. If we can hold the low, if we can close above 120, bullish for me. From the weekly chart perspective, bullish for me. Let's have a look on the daily chart. What I would like to see here, you know, maybe some kind of this type of the consolidation, right, around 120, 100 with the weekly close above 120. That can create the opportunity to retest 180 and 200. I'm bullish on Ether from the medium and long term perspective, but let's have a look what we have from the intraday chart perspective, because we broke $100 range to the downside. If you remember, we were discussing the range between 200, 220 and 300, right? So we broke to the downside, 100 to the downside, below 200, giving us 100. That's the levels even below 100. That was the panic selling, and more stops to the downside. Anyway, looking carefully, I'm going to look very carefully from the medium and long-term perspective, and I'm going to look on the daily and weekly chart, and that's where I'm going to look for the opportunities when it comes to the Ether. So guys, we cannot rule it out. I mean, more pain cannot be ruled out, all right? That's the first thing first. But if we can see some kind of the consolidation, stabilization right here, right now, from the medium and long-term perspective, that could be very good sign. Anyway, it was my pleasure to make the update for you when it comes to the crypto market. Have a great rest of the Sunday and see you around. Take care and goodbye, guys.